Welcome to part 3 of the VW T1 transporter build-up. We made some progress on the kit. We started to get the body colour down on the body. This has had 2 coats so far of the metallic violet. I just need to wait for this to dry completely. I mean, it's dry to the touch, but I just need to wait for this to dry now completely overnight. I will need to go over that with a little bit of wet and dry paper, because that is a little bit feels a little bit rough. So I need to try and smooth that down a bit, and that's be the same for all of these parts as well, really. The front end there, and then we've also got the 2 doors on there as well. They need to be done. They're just feeling a little bit rough, really, so I'd rather give them a gentle rub down with 1200 to try and help that. I've also got some progress on the engine as well. So far what I managed to do is get the blue bit painted. Not really sure what that's called. I've also got the wires painted on there in black, and I've also got the top of the engine painted in aluminium. I've also got the wheels sorted as well. I've got those trimmed down to the right size. They do come with an edge to these that can actually be cut off for the right size of tyre. I've also gone in and tidied up all around the spokes and everything. The only problem that I've had with these wheels is one of the little spokes on this one, as I was trying to tidy it up, did break, unfortunately. Now hopefully I should have some styrene of the right size for that, so I will try and repair that. If not, it's not too much of an issue. I do have another set of wheels there that I can use. I did buy these ones for the Samba Bus that I have, which is kind of the same as the T1 transporter. Except for it's got loads of windows in it and loads of seats as well. So I'll try that. The other thing that I need to look at as well is how I'm going to attach these to the model. You can see we got the interior side of those there. I'm going to need to try and drill those out, because I'm going to need to try and attach them to those hubs, but not quite sure at the moment whether those hubs are the right size for that. I'm just going to need to sit down and work out the details on that one. Obviously we do need to try and get them attached. One thing's for sure, when these wheels are on, they're going to need to be glued into position so the wheels won't turn, but that's not really a biggie anyway, to be quite honest, because I normally glue the wheels into place anyway, so it's not too much of an issue for me. But that's about it for the moment. As soon as I've got some more progress on this, I will come back to you. Okay, so we've had a bit more success with the Alclad paints. I've now got the wheels done. You can most probably remember from the last segment of this video, there was a problem with one of the wheels where the spoke snapped. I don't actually know which one it was now, to be quite honest. The repair seemed to go a little bit better than I thought it did, than I thought it would have done. But you can see how nice and shiny those wheels are now. They've had the same treatment as the bumpers, so they're looking rather shiny and rather nice now. And then if we just take a quick look at the back of them, you'll be able to see what they look like from there. So they're looking really, really good. So I'm happy with the way that they've progressed. I also went back and gave the bumpers another quick going over, because they did look a bit too dark, but they've lightened up quite nicely now. So all I need to do is just quickly polish those once they're dry completely. So that's brilliant. I'm happy with that. That's looking good now. I've also managed to get the last coat of paint on the side of the bus, or the transport, should I say. I'm not sure whether you are going to see the metallic paint coming through that at the moment. It really does need the gloss coat on that just to help bring that out, but that's all done. So I'm going to put the gloss coat on there just to help protect that, and then once I've done that, I'm just going to rip off this masking, well, I say rip off, just going to take the masking tape off of there, and let them, and then do the other half. I've also been a little bit busy on the inside of the bus. I've used the sort of cloth that I got, or the leather cloth that I got, and that's what they're looking like. So we've got two different types in there. Strictly speaking, that should be all of this bit here should really be done in like a rubber matting, but I've decided that, you know, because this is a custom van, we're going to have it looking nice and custom. So they're looking all right. They're not too bad. It's the first time I've used this material, and it's not too bad actually. It's quite easy to use. The only thing I would suggest is, if you are using this type of material, because it does have an adhesive back to it, and as soon as you stick it down on the surface, it does stick like the proverbial to a blanket. So I would suggest to make sure that you've got this in absolutely the right place before you put it down. Otherwise, you know, you're gonna struggle to get that back up again. One of these parts I put down and then realised it was in the wrong position. Managed to get it off again and replace it, but not before it ripped off half the paint that was underneath it. So that's worth a little look. We've also got the engine in place now for the van, and as you can see, the back side of the engine there is done in the chrome as well. That's slightly darker than the bumpers now, because I only put one sort of coat on there rather than two, but it's still really shiny. It's just got a bit of a darker shine to it, but that's looking quite good. And we've also got the underside in there as well, with the exhaust and all the suspension, and we've also got the front end in as well. And these, true to Revell, are movable. I would imagine, to be quite honest though, these might be stuck in place once I get the wheels in, because I got a funny feeling these wheels are going to be just they're going to be a bit of a tight fit to get in there, so I don't think there's going to be too much play with this at all. But that's about where we are at the moment. I've just got a little bit worked onto the dash as well. I've got the dials in there, as you can see. I just need to get the decals placed on those, and then I'll be able to get the cabin all put together. I've also been working on some boxes for the inside of the for the van. This is just like a test, really. This has just been done on thin paper, whereas when I do it, I will be doing it on a thicker paper, but it kind of gives you the idea of what I'm looking for. All I did is I just went online, found a picture of a cardboard box, and then just used that as a template really to make mine. I mean, you can see there that, you know, it was a little bit out, but hey ho, put a little sign on there as well, you know, Dicky Donut Models, just for the sheer hell of it. You know, it's got to be done. I'm just mucking about with that really, but I will try and get something in there as well. I think it'll look quite good if we can get some boxes on the inside of the load area. But that's about it for the moment. As soon as I've got some more work done to the model, I will come back to you. We've got some more work done to the chassis of the vehicle. We got the disc brakes in now at the front end of the car. They are a little bit big for this vehicle, to be quite honest. I think if this was to be a real car with brakes that size, it would be doing cartwheels down the street as soon as you put the brakes on. But hey ho, never mind, it still looks pretty good. If I get one of the wheels, I mean, basically what I've had to do with this to help with the to be able to get the wheels on this, I've basically had to drill out the spoke, or this bit here, on the vehicles, and then put in a piece of sprue that just happened to be the right size for the wheels. And it also enabled me to cut the sprue down to the right length as well, to be able to get the wheels in at the proper depth as well. So it wasn't too complicated in that respect, and all I needed to do was just remove some of the resin from the spoke on the inside, and also just drill out a hole in the middle of the tyre as well, sorry, in the middle of the wheel as well. But if we just get the wheel, I mean, I need to glue these on yet, but if we get the wheel in there, hopefully you should be able to see the brake disc hiding behind the wheel there slightly. So that looks pretty cool. As I say, the discs are slightly oversized for this car. Now the wheels, believe it or not, these are, even though these are 19-inch spoke wheels for a 1/24th car, they are slightly smaller than the kit provided wheels, diameter wise anyway, by about 0.5 millimeter. So I would imagine the wheels that would normally come on this van would be the equivalent of a 20, maybe a 21-inch with the tyre on. So that was that's a bit bizarre. That was a bit weird to realise. If I get the tyre there, I'm not sure whether you're going to be able to see this or not. Let me just bring the camera down for you and see if we can zoom in a bit. So hopefully from that shot you can see the difference in the depth of the tyres. Now let's see if we can actually do that a little bit better for you. Let's just there you go. There you go, you can actually see the difference there in the tyres. So that's a little bit weird. So hopefully the van, by the time we've got these wheels on, the van should naturally be sitting a little bit lower to, you know, and that'll give it a bit of a lower stance as well. So that'd be kind of cool. I've also been working on the other parts of the van as well, and we've got the silver on top. I have decided to go for a silver on the top of this, a bit of a cliche, but I think it's going to give me the type of contrast that I need with the rest of the van. So all I need to do with these parts now is just get one layer of the clear lacquer on these. Then I'll be able to get all of the detail work done to it, the decal work done to it. And then once they're on, I'll be able to then give it another couple of coats of clear gloss over the top of that, just to help seal everything in. And we've also got all the other parts as well done with the silver on, so that's going to look pretty cool once that's done. One thing I have actually noticed though, with this door, the little hinge is missing off of this vehicle. Now that is absolutely really smooth, so that kind of tells me that this door never had the little hinge put on there. Now whether that's going to cause any problems or not, I don't know. Whether I'm going to be able to manufacture a hinge for that or not, again, I don't know, but it's something I'm going to need to look into, and I'll look at that as the last stage really, because what I'm going to need to do is get this door put in place, and then once the door's in place I can then just try and line it all up and then try and manufacture a little hinge. Hopefully with the help of a little bit of sprue it won't be too difficult, but I don't know. I'd need to look into that really, to be quite honest, you know, and see what we can do. I mean, if that doesn't work, then it's, you know, no biggie. The door will still stay in place when it's on the body. It's just that when I open the door, it won't, you know, it's just going to come off straight away. But that's about it for the moment. As soon as I've made some more progress to this, I will come back to you. Okay, so we've had some successes and we've had some failures on this model. The first failure that we've had is I broke my nice wheels. Basically what happened was, as I was putting them on, this one was a little bit too tight, and unfortunately I forgot that these were quite fragile, and I wasn't trying to force it on, but you know, it kind of, one of the inner spokes snapped on this one. When that snapped, that was it, they all went. So unfortunately I've had to go to my backup wheels that I was going to use for the Samba Bus, break those out and paint those up, so they've been chromed. So in a way that's good news really, because it means that I could practice with the Alclads. So they've been done. The other thing that I've managed to do is get the silver on. I've decided to go with the silver on this rather than anything else. One thing that I did have to do though was this line down the centre was actually the violet colour, and for it to meet up with the front of the bus I've had to sort of drop below that line and then do that in silver, so it does actually meet up with the front of the bus with this curved edge here. So that's all painted. They've all been they've all had one layer of gloss lacquer put over the top. Unfortunately I've had an issue with the side of the bus. I'm not sure whether you're going to see that. You should hopefully be able to, where somehow we've got some streaks in the paint, so I'm going to need to rub that part of the silver down and remask and do that again. We've also had some problems with the roof of the bus as well. I don't know whether you can see them there, where it's bubbled a bit. So unfortunately again that means that that needs to be sanded down and redone. But they're the only two parts, so that's not too bad really. I've also come up with a second design of box that I'm happy with, that I'm going to go for. Now again, this is made of well, this is just made of thin paper. I will actually be putting that over to well, I have already put that over to thicker paper, so that looks like that. I've got 15 of them there. I doubt if I'll be using all 15 of those, but they're there anyway, just in case. So I just need to go around and cut those out and use as many of them as I like for the interior of the bus. I've also got some decals printed out as well. So I've printed out too many of those. I only needed one, but I printed out two by mistake. These ones are for the sides and that one's for the rear. the Stargate logo is for the little TV screen that I'm having in the front of the van, because Stargate is another one of those programs that I like to watch, apart from Star Trek. So they're looking good. And the other one that I've got done are the logos for the side of the van. So we've got this one for one side, then we've got that one for the next side, and then we've also got that one for the rear of the van. With these, what I need to do is I'm just going to cut these off of the sheet, and then I need to spray these down to stop the ink from running. So that's those bits done, and that's about it for the minute, really, to be quite honest. I've got a registration plate on standby for the rear of the vehicle, and one for the front of the vehicle as well. I've taken those from a different kit. I can't remember what kit that they come from, though, to be quite honest. But that's those done. So I just need to crack on, really, and get those two parts sanded down and then recoated. And once that's done, hopefully, keep fingers crossed, I'll be able to start putting the kit together. So as soon as I've got some more work done to that, I will come back to you.